Okay, well, you want to get into some
Okay.
Tesla stuff since we're talking electric vehicles?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so I don't normally like to talk about the stock market because I'm just generally not a fan, but big news in the stock market world with regards to Tesla. Current price as a recording is right around 600. Sorry, I'm reading the six there. $767, kind of bouncing around today, which is up almost 5% on the day. However, it is down a huge percentage from 2 days ago, where it closed at 961, almost reaching
Yeah.
$1,000 a share, which is absolutely
That's been
bonkers.
yeah.
Because just a month or two ago, let's see what, like 3 months ago, what it was. 3 months ago it was $300. So it was like 300% gain, almost. Just absolutely nuts this past couple of weeks. And the thing about it that really got me was it didn't make any sense. Like, yes, Tesla, since the earnings report, they had a great earnings report. They were profitable. Deliveries were up, all those things. Like, there was a lot of really positive news, and then the China factory and all this. But it just kept going. It just kept going. Because you can see right around when the stock, when the earnings call came out, like, yeah, it had a big jump. But people just got really kind of drunk on this and just kept letting it ride. And so now it's down to...
Well, wait, go back a little bit further because there was a huge jump in overnight trading, basically.
When?
From Friday or whatever, or the day of the earnings call. Whenever that was.
So you're looking at January 31st at 650, which is already insane. And then February 4th, 887. So that's a massive jump. And then it, came all the way back down, and now. So all in all, it's still up a tremendous amount. But it had this kind of really we're all really drunk and let's just go to the bar kind of thing. And then, now you have a bit of the hangover the next day. But I think the overall trend is still very positive. And if you were to fast forward maybe 6 months, I would not be shocked if we're well over $1,000 per share, because the way these things are, they go up and they go down, right? This is my whole thing about the stock market. Like, if you're trying to make a short-term gain, you're really playing with fire. It's really not the right thing to do, and this is a classic example of that. So I think the general trend is going up. Would not be shocked if by Q3 we're well over $1,000. So good shout out to all the investors that are hanging on, because you guys are probably going to do very well.
Yeah.
The question is, why did it come down? And there's one bit of news that you could point to, but I don't know. I think it just came down because it was just a bit crazy. Like, it was just it was just inflated because that's the thing. Like, when they have a positive earnings report, you're like, oh great, the stock went up. That makes sense. But then when it keeps flying like crazy high for no reason at all, you're like, all right, something's gonna happen. So the one bit of news that was somewhat bad was that Tesla temporarily closed their China stores due to the coronavirus. And I also was reading that the factory was shut down. I don't know if still or just temporarily, but with that, the coronavirus going kind of crazy right now in China, I think a lot of the China stuff is going to be slowing down, which probably hurts their overall outlook for the year. I don't know by how much, probably an insignificant percent. I guess depending on how long the coronavirus thing goes on and the severity of it and all that. So, so China, slowing down a little bit, which is one of the big reasons why they had this big run was because of China. So it makes sense. But overall, the stock is still up a tremendous amount and doing well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, for me, personally, I think the conference call or the quarterly results was just a matter of finally resting a lot of uncertainty for investors, where they're just kind of well, if you're not paying attention to every little tiny detail like a lot of us are, overall it just sort of seems like, sure, they're doing okay, but is this really, are they really on track to, I don't know, be a huge car company and all these things, and I think the quarterly call is finally here's why we're dominating. Here are our numbers, and basically from here on out, we're gonna make money, and we're gonna also continue to make way more cars, and here you go,
Yeah. We're looking at a chart here that kind of explains a little bit of that super, that jump to almost 1,000 was look at the trading volume here, like a typical, I don't know, we're right around like 15 to 20 million shares and all that. And then right when it started to spike up, it jumps, instead of 15 or 20 million shares, you're looking at like 50 to 60 million shares changing hands. So that's where you see that massive spike. And then it came back down. But
were those short sellers having to lose their lunch?
Like buy, to kind of cover their bets or whatever. What's that called?
Or
naked spread.
I don't know. Or was when you actually don't you have to unload them if you short, you're promising to buy it at a certain point, and what happens when?
Yeah, and the idea is if the price goes down, then you make the difference. If the price goes up, then you're losing that amount. So yeah, at some point they could be dumping those options, and then but they probably are holding on to them. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if you can really see that level of detail in terms of the types of options, right? Because not to go and I'm not the most knowledgeable, but like what you're doing are called put options. And that's options trading. This is like the betting on if it's going to go up or down versus just buying the stock. So it's a whole different kind of ball game and how that works. And even being able to do that means you have to have from your investment broker higher, like elevated privileges in order to buy that. Like if you guys have never done it, you can't just go short the stock. You have to like actually get permission to do that from them and all that. So yeah, who knows? I don't know if we have details on that, but certainly the short sellers are having a no good, bad, terrible year when it comes to Tesla stock, which is ironic because that's one of the most shorted stocks in the world. So, yeah.
Well, and I was wondering if this jump had something to do with the shorts have had such a loud voice over the last few years in terms of like saying, oh, the naysayers basically they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that. Did we just kind of reach a point where the market was like, okay, they're actually doing that, and the shorts are just like their entire thesis or whatever just fell apart?
Yeah.
Like, is it at that point? Is that kind of what caused it? I mean,
free the data, man. I mean, what? Just look at the earnings report, look at the production numbers, look at China, and I think when you see people like Jim Cramer out there, who's think what you want of him, a loud voice in this space,
in multiple ways.
Right, yeah. Not giving him extra credit that maybe he doesn't deserve, but just saying he has an impact here, and him getting up there basically being like, yes, 100%, and people like Kevin O'Leary saying, yes, it's legit, for all these different reasons. I think maybe the market just kind of swung a little bit, to where they're looking more at reality versus any kind of speculative stuff that they may have been thought before, and that's the hard part, right? Is like, yeah, of course, the people that have a short interest in Tesla are going to be the purveyors of fake news, or even if it's not fake, they're going to emphasize the negative stuff to try to have a financial gain, which as they should. That's what their job is as a thing. But you can't really trust any of that, I guess is the point, right? So when you look at any of it, like, it's part of the reason why I don't have any interest in Tesla. Like, besides me just not believing in the stock market in general, if I were to be a huge investor in Tesla, then I have a video that's positive of them. Well, yeah, there is a legit financial incentive for me to be overly positive.
Yeah, it's tainted.
Yeah, and so I think that's kind of wrong if you are somebody that is talking about a company, and you also own an interest in that company. You should just disclose that, like, hey, I'm super positive on this company, and by the way, it's because I make money when their stock goes up. So take that with a grain of salt, versus a more like journalistic approach where it's like, look, I'm just reporting the facts here. Yeah. We all have our biases, but it's just extra when you have a legit financial incentive.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That being said, I feel like I should say, I've got some stocks, some Tesla stock. Not a lot, but...
Stonks.
I've got some Tesla stonks, so everything I say is just me trying to pump up the stock. So sorry, guys.
That's right.
I love my Tesla. Wink, wink. It's actually upside down right now. I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing about it is Tesla doesn't need any of this. That's the amazing thing, right? Like, just gives anybody a ride in it, and they are guaranteed to have a positive experience.
Oh, that's something I wanted to talk to you guys about. I think I said it in person. I don't think I talked about it too much on the show, but like it's cool to finally see my dad coming around even. And my dad is, you know, he's always been like a techie guy and all this stuff, but he's always just thought, you know, Teslas, I don't know, you know, he's like, they're shiny and they have all these cool things, but like, really, like, does it all make sense? You know, he just never wanted to commit to it, you know? And now, ever since I gave my parents a ride and their friends were here at their condo for a little bit, I took them all out to dinner. You know, we did karaoke, we did all the fun things. And now I came back to the Gulf Coast here to hang out with my parents, and my dad's sitting here asking me all these questions and just asking me, like, looking at the configurator of the Model Y, and he's like very strongly considering Model Y now. So it finally happened for him. You know, I don't know what exactly clicked, but it finally happened. And he's sitting here watching, you know, Tesla videos and stuff. And it's just funny because all of a sudden it finally clicked for him that he's like, yeah, this is really cool.
And he didn't do it because he wanted to save the environment or the whales or keep polar bears off of icebergs and stuff.
Right.
And yet, how many EV commercials were there at the Super Bowl? And they were all talking about that. So first of all, I'm still blown away by the fact that Tesla is doing as well as they are, and they're moving the industry as fast as they are with no marketing whatsoever. Well, no TV ads, no advertising.
I was going to say they're genius at marketing.
Yeah.
Right. But advertising is a different animal.
But whenever you hear about somebody that has quote unquote converted to wanting to do a Tesla, it's the tech stuff, it's the fun and games on the screen, it's the driving experience, it's that kind of thing. It's not Arya Stark singing, you know, while cars are stuck in traffic. No. It's
Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.